Hey guys, welcome back to Monday Mondays with Melissa. It is an honor for me to be able to say that I work with a lot of military veterans and their families. And before anything, I want to always say thank you for your service. Today's topic, we're going to be talking about 11 things that you need to keep in mind when you're purchasing a home using a VA loan. So let's get started because today it's a long one. Number one, not everybody that puts on a military uniform qualifies for a VA loan. You do have to be honorably discharged, but also there are minimum days of service. For example, if we're in wartime, you have to have been in service, active duty service, for at least 90 days and at least 181 days if it's peacetime, etc. So definitely speak with your local VA bureau just to find out what your eligibility is, because they will be requesting your DD 214 when you're getting the loan. Two, and this is really the biggest benefit about purchasing a property with a VA loan, is that you really can do zero money down, negotiate to have your closing costs rolled into that loan, and still not have a mortgage insurance to have to pay. That literally saves you hundreds of dollars every month on your monthly payment. At least in our area that does. But please keep in mind that the house must appraise for that total purchase price. So if you've rolled your closing costs into that, that is going to be, the house does have to appraise for that. That's something to know, where it really comes down to what market you're in. If you're in a market where it's really more of a buyer's market, it's definitely more feasible to negotiate that in the transaction. However, if you're in a market where your competitors, the buyers that are also putting in bids on homes, are typically covering their closing costs, the reality of you being able to get that rolled into your loan kind of becomes a little bit harder. So definitely keep that in mind when you're making that offer. Three, if you're on active duty, you will be paying a funding fee. However, if you're not on active duty and you're collecting disability that is associated from your time of service, there is a possibility you won't have to pay a funding fee. So that's saving you even more money on being able to get the loan. Four, in New York City, in Metro New York and Long Island, which is where I do business, we have attorneys on both sides of the transaction. You have an attorney that's representing the seller, you have an attorney that's representing the buyer. Now, while a VA loan does say that you don't need any money down, you will have to put money down on contract. You will get that money back at the closing table. However, there does have to be something put down in consideration at the time you're signing the contract. So that will be something that we will have to discuss. The dollar amount has varied for me depending on the transaction and what we can negotiate, but do know that you will have to put something down at that point. Five, I think that people get confused because they hear appraisal inspection, and they think that when the bank sends the appraiser, that person will also be doing an inspection of the home. That appraiser will look to make sure that there are no safety concerns regarding the home, but the reality is if the utilities are on, if there's a working stove, and if there's no gaping holes anywhere, the house will most probably qualify for a VA loan. That's not the same though as having an actual home inspector go through the home, check every socket, open and close every window, and look at every nook and cranny to tell you the pluses and minuses of that home. So please know, if you're looking to do a home inspection in our area, you must do it after your offer is accepted, but prior to signing a contract. And if you're relying on an inspection, that's the time to do it, because that appraisal inspection that the bank does is not the same thing. Six, you can only purchase a house using a VA loan with a spouse or another military veteran. So I've actually had people that were engaged and they were looking to buy the home, and they've ended up having to get married legally prior to purchasing the home in order to get it. And when that happens, I don't know if I should say I'm sorry or you're welcome, but it's just a reality of doing business. But if you're looking to have another person on the loan to, let's say, increase that income so you can get a higher loan amount, it would need to be a spouse or another military veteran. It can't be like your brother or a cousin or something like that. Seven, the GI Bill. The GI Bill is a phenomenal thing that we're able to provide as a service to our veterans. However, it is not something that could be used as a source of income when you're getting a loan on a property. So if you're in active duty and you're planning on going on the GI Bill after active duty, my recommendation would be to get the house when you're on active duty, and then use the GI, and then take advantage of that GI Bill, and the housing allowance that it pays and all that stuff after you finish, as you're studying for something else. But do that strategically, because that GI Bill will not qualify as income. 8, depending on where you're purchasing, find out if there's property tax exemptions for you in your service. In our area, you do have additional property tax exemptions depending on your level of service. You do have to apply for it, so it's different for every person. However, it's something that you could get. You can get several thousands of dollars back each year because of that. So why would you say no to free money? Like, I don't understand why anybody wouldn't do that. 9, something that I think is a pretty fun fact or a cool fact, are that VA loans are actually assumable. Now, that doesn't mean every bank will allow it, but my parents actually purchased a house in the late 70s, early 80s, where they assumed that veterans loan. It was allowable. That's when interest rates were like 18 or 20%. So please know we're in a much better world when it comes to interest rates. But it's actually something that's true, and it is possible. 10, you can buy more than one home using a VA loan. And what I mean by that is that, well, 1, make sure that it still has to be a primary residence, or something that would be classified as your primary residence. But let's say that you were on base somewhere and you purchased a property, had a $50,000 loan, and now you're moving somewhere else and you're purchasing a property, maybe it's going to be a $200,000 loan. You can actually have 2 VA loans, but please speak with the bank, because there are caps as to the dollar amount for the VA loan depending on where you're moving to. But it is possible, as long as the property would be your primary residence. And number 11 is that I highly recommend working with a real estate agent and an attorney that is familiar with the VA loans process. There are additional disclosures or requirements regarding a VA rider, and also regarding termites and stuff like that. It just makes your life easier, because back in the day, apparently, VA loans used to take a really long time to close. It's not like that anymore. If anything, I feel like VA loans are closing quicker than FHA and conventional loans. However, when you have parties that are involved that already know what the bank is going to be looking for, so they can get it to the bank right away, that's what cuts down on your hold-up time. And it just makes everything a lot easier. Like I said before, I sell properties in Metro New York and Long Island. So if you're looking to buy or sell in this area, give me a call or send me a text or email me. My information is going to be in the description box. But if you're looking in another area, I can also recommend you to an agent in that area that does work with military veterans, that does understand the VA loan process, and that would be able to work with you. So I hope you liked this video, and if so, please hit like. Feel free to comment. Feel free to share it. Please hit subscribe, because I am trying to increase my YouTuber subscriber scenario. If you're looking for me on Instagram, look at for my handle @MyRealtorLife. If you're looking for me on Facebook, my handle is Melissa Gomez Inc. I'm going to be putting that in the description box as well. I look forward to seeing you guys on next time's Monday Mondays with Melissa. Have an amazing day.